Okay, let's see. It seems to be working. I'm gonna try out YouTube, see what it says. Still working. Oh, leave Steam. Maybe I have some more bandwidth. Still working. Okay, sound seems to be good. Okay, so I am live. Gotta write welcome. Sorry I started a bit late. Oh, Junior already here. Hi. Sorry I started so late. They changed the YouTube interface when you stream live in the back menu, whatever it's called. A creator studio, something like that, and they changed it to a new format and I couldn't find the go live stream button. Yeah. And finally I found the button that says to take me to the old version because I can't find what I'm looking for in the new one. You just didn't have the Go Live tab. It was weird. Have you been, June? How's life treating you? I'm glad we're making so much progress with the pages, but yeah, these are your specialty, no backgrounds. uh, it takes me a long time to color them as well. I'm kind of dreading book 2 when we're gonna have ships and ancient cities and things like that. I don't think I'm gonna start work on book 2 until I find someone to help me with the backgrounds. Your favorite panels, yeah. I figured we had them running around a lot and had a bit of action. We can uh, change the flow and have some discussion and more lore world building done. Kind of give a bit more context as to what world the characters are coming from, what's going on back home. Plus, it's fun for me to write arguments between characters. To be able to make awesome backgrounds or decent ones at least. Yeah, me too. Hashtag life goals. But it takes just, so much time. That it's really a work of art you're doing. There are a lot of shortcuts, like you can do it in 3D and just move it around. But even that way, it's a long time. Like I talked to my sister because she knows how to do 3D modeling very well, and I talked about her about this, but she was all for it. But of course, the reality is that in 1 year she starts university, so like for the next 6 years, she's gonna be super busy. She will not have time to help me. Maybe in the summers, best case scenario. But we'll see. Who knows what happens in 2 years from now? Like, at the rate that we're going at, I think maybe by 2020 we finish the book one. I think that's an optimistic deadline. And then I'm gonna start trying to do more promotional stuff for it since it's finished. Like I can start giving it to people and saying, hey, it's done. It's finished. Like you don't have to worry that I'm not gonna finish it because it's already finished. Because I think that's an issue maybe with no-name writers that you don't know, and it's just some person that emails you, hey, I have this half-finished comic. Do you wanna buy it? And I think they just say no straight out of the bat without even thinking. Even though it's like separated into issues, they want to buy, I guess, the whole series. Not sure what they're going for, but it's like super hard. Like you wouldn't be able to make a living out of it in this system. There was somebody that said that being an artist is a rich person's hobby or something like that, and it shouldn't be, and being an artist should be like a real job, but it really still isn't. Like if you don't have somebody to feed you, I don't think you can really make a living out of it as an indie artist. As a graphic artist making pamphlets and posters and photoshopping food or other products, yeah, you can make a living out of that easily. Everybody needs advertising nowadays. But artists in like in the classical sense, no. I'm glad that scientist is now like a real job. Because in Newton's time, like only rich people were scientists. Like you usually didn't have middle income or definitely no poor people as artists. Newton was a peasant, I think, his social class initially, where he started. But his dad was like a rich peasant. His dad had so much land that I think he was able to make it in his career choice, but there were a lot of financial struggles for him. If Haley hadn't financed him, his book would have never been published because they spent all their money on some fish plaques. The what do you call it? The Royal Society. Like they kind of had a budget. I'm not sure exactly who was putting into that budget, but they blew it all on a encyclopedia of fish, which is really a beautiful book, but it did not sell. I think they paid some people in books with those books because they had too many and they were like trying to get rid of them. So like they definitely didn't have a mind for business. Like all of them were rich because of their parents or something like that. I'm not sure. But yeah, so Haley, I understand that he was a nobleman, like he had money, a lot of them. so he can indulge this hobby of his of being a scientist. And I just find it really funny, all the financial aspects of it. But I find it interesting, like being a scientist was not a real job back then, but being an artist was, and you can actually live off of painting portraits. Like that was their bread and butter. I'm looking forward to doing the Galileo Galilei storyline as well. I kind of been reading up on Italian history, trying to get a better idea of what has been going on around at that time. I should probably get to watching those Medici shows. Series, sorry. And Anna told me about another one, set in Montova or something, or they filmed there. Il nome della rosa. And the name of the rose is not the old one with Sean Connery. Is it something new? She told me that Sean Bean was playing a character in it. Ah, there's a new one. Okay, get it. Yeah, Sean Bean, Rupert Everett. Ah, Michael Emerson. Very British people playing Italian people. But you know, the Italians are not gonna do it anytime soon. Like, is your cinema industry even alive anymore? It's like Romania is barely limping on. It's like, oh, this was supposed to be the back of his head. I didn't notice. So it's gotta change it. Oh well, something. Like, I don't know, every time there's like a famous Romanian film, it's about something really horrible. It's like super depressing. Because that's usually what the festival at Cannes, like, they reward. Like, they talk in America about Oscar bait, but I feel like in Europe you have Cannes bait. And they kind of compete who does the most depressing story. Some of them are really interesting. I agree. I really liked Desert Bloom, although it was horribly depressing, but it kind of had a happy end at least. Ah, okay. Oops, my chat went away. Can I go back? I don't have a back button here? Nope, I do not. Shouldn't have clicked on the link. Uh, Let me pop it out again. I'll go in the chat later on and oh, I have it in my history now since I clicked on it. Yes, no problem. I forgot, like it's not the first time I've done it. I also wanted to ask you, because I see here on Restream there are a bunch of channels that I can stream on. Yeah, it's official. Um, like if you know any of these channels, if you recognize them. I really do want to expand on other channels since I had all of these issues with YouTube. Twitch and Picarto are kind of dead, and they're really not for my kind of art anymore. Like Picarto has just become not safe for work type of art, and on Twitch it's for gaming, so nobody really cares about cute animals there that much unless they're doing something that is not really for kids. So I'm kind of trying to find new platforms. So far YouTube has been the best for me, but with all the issues, like I really don't want to rely on it so much. I thought maybe since your friends stream, maybe they have some like recommendations. Like if they use anything else that you might have heard of. If you ever see anything like them recommending, please let me know. Like a lot of these names I see on Restream, like a lot of them seem Asian. And I can't really read it. I think that some of them are Chinese or Japanese. And since I do a manga, I thought maybe I can try those out, but like I looked at them, they're all on Twitch basically. Yeah, I guess I'll have to like Google search every name. I did do some of them, and there are not really that many reviews, and also like some of them the platforms seem to be only in a foreign language, so if I can't read what's going on, I'm really not looking forward to hopping on, since if I get some issue like I had with YouTube, like I wouldn't be able even to communicate with the company. Not that I'm having much success with YouTube. In the Name of the Rose, the set is early 1300, few centuries before Galileo. Yeah, but since I don't know much of anything about that period and Galileo's, I guess anything is good. At least I get more familiar with places in Italy. Because mostly I know Italian regions and cities because of food, like Tuscany, I know it. I know it because of wine. Parma, I know it because of the cheese. Sicily, I know it because of the gangster and the cheese with worms. And of course, we studied the Romans in school because Romania, but like middle age and Renaissance, we did like I was gonna say Leonardo DiCaprio, Leonardo da Vinci. Uh, yeah. And Michelangelo, like I do follow classical memes, and they mention some Italian painters there. So yeah, and it's with the Game of Thrones actor. I forgot his name. Has a very strong Irish or Scottish accent. I don't remember which one is it. And I just was like, do I really wanna hear that? It would be so weird. But I don't remember. Like, I think I watched the trailer. Uh, no, she talked about Sean Bean. I think the Medici's different. I'll have to check and see. At the moment, I'm super excited about season 8 of Game of Thrones now that I kept mentioning these actors that were in Game of Thrones. Uh, I think Sean Bean is there too, not sure. Oh, Dustin Hoffman. Usually I prefer TV series like these that don't have a famous actor because for me it's very distracting. Like I know Dustin Hoffman so well, and it'd be kind of weird to see him in that setting. But I guess it works for younger people that don't know him that much if they watch these kinds of films, but I doubt it. Like when I was young, I didn't watch these. Episodes should be in official channel too. Ah, thanks. Thank you. I hear the tablet going whoop whoop. So, I think I got something in my messages. I saw you shared about Love, Death, and Robots. I was kind of curious because I saw some reviews about them. And it like the stories looked interesting. I got a like a spoilery review of the series because it was on Netflix, so it was all dumped there. I don't know, it seems like too much violence. I already watched Game of Thrones, so I'm like, I don't want any more of that. I want puppy dogs and rainbows and sunshine. I actually stopped watching Dororo. It was just too much gore, and the story wasn't worth it for me to endure all of that. It was just him getting torn apart every episode. It was just blood, blood, blood. So I got tired of that. Yeah, that one looked cute. Like I would watch that, and I would watch it with my husband too, 'cause also he doesn't like it when it's too gory and violent like that. I think that one might be cute for us to watch. I like that they're sort of an anthology, like you can watch any episode at random and it doesn't matter. I always like that format, like you can pick and choose what you want to see and it's kind of in the theme of it. But like you don't have to watch the other violent stuff in order to enjoy that one episode. And I think there was another episode that I liked. I might try it, but I forgot the name. I'll have to look it up again. Ah, Dororo is a girl. I thought it was a boy, but yeah, now that you mention it, I can see how it's much safer to pretend to be a boy. Like you have a whole storyline of that in Game of Thrones, where a girl pretends she's a boy. Like those medieval times were not kind to little girls. They weren't kind to little boys either, but well, I think it's a fun choice. I liked it. Was it like this in the original series, or is this like a change? I think it's the original story too, because some people already knew. Uh-huh. Yeah, Dororo was just too much for me. Yeah. I'm watching American Gods. It's on Stars, I think. The is the producer. Stars TV or something like that. And like people were posting spoilers from the books in the comments. And there's this god of technology or something, is not clear what he is. I watched the episode too, so I guess I'm an episode ahead of you. I won't spoil what happens in that one, but like people were posting about who Mr. World actually is, like what god of what thing he is. Yeah, the older looking of the new gods, like Mr. World is the one with the suit and I think top hat or something. And like people posted a spoiler of who he actually is, what god he is, and I was like, oh no. Um, I think he's presenting himself as god of information or something like that. Um, he says he's the man behind the man. Like some people were speculating that he's the god of crazy conspiracies. But he's actually another god, and to be honest, I was kind of disappointed. I liked him more as the god of information and whatever he's presenting himself as. Yeah, media. She's gonna be played by somebody else because the actress did not sign on for season two. The original producers were, I don't know if they were kicked out or they had some artistic differences and they separated, but a lot of actors left. I don't know what the scandal was. So the goddess that was the actress that was playing the goddess of Easter, of Jesus Easter, like she did not sign on for season two. She was supposed to play a role, but they replaced her with some other goddess of Japanese or something. I mean, for media it works, 'cause she can refresh her image. I don't think it will be an impact on the quality of the show. I hope it wasn't like a bad drama, something like that. Like, I hope it was just, a gig and they moved on to other projects type of thing. And maybe the news websites, blogs. So Brian Fuller he's crazy, so that's why they kicked him out. Like it's a real drama, it's not just made up. Because I didn't follow that discussion at all. So I don't know what's going on. I'm kind of busy complaining about Witcher Netflix series. So it's everywhere because I'm such a big fan of the Witcher. I guess YouTube is recommending me stuff related to the Witcher, and I keep getting um news about that in my feed. Nothing about American Gods. Well, hope everything will turn out okay. It's a good show. I like it. I enjoy it. I hope they do change some of the things from the books because I didn't find them as interesting. Like people have been posting spoilers from the books, and I thought that some reveals were like meh. I don't know. Maybe because I watch and I'm a big fan of M. Night Shyamalan. It is a love hate relationship with him, but mostly I like his stuff, and also I like Game of Thrones, which has a lot of plot twists that are foreshadowed for a long time. So I guess maybe I have some unrealistic expectations of other TV shows. I left for a matter of money. Yeah. Like I've noticed that a lot of business people, if you ask more money than they're willing to give you, they'll fire you and hire someone cheaper and like make up some stuff to say that you're bad and to get rid of you, and like we're gonna make it public that you said such and such even if the person didn't. Like the simple fact that they're willing to lie about it will still impact negatively, because if it's rumored in the industry that you have a problem, like nobody's gonna want to hire you. So I wouldn't be surprised if he saw that season 1 was doing good and he said, "Hey, I did a good job. Can I have a raise?" And then they were like, no thanks, bye. We're gonna hire someone cheaper." Because I think it's suspicious that so many actors left as well. Like, if it was just a problem with Fuller, it would make no sense for the other artists to leave. So I think that someone in the management at Stars is probably not a very nice person. And like this kind of stuff has happened to me as well, where the manager says, "Yeah, if you do a good job, then we'll pay you more." And then when they have to keep their promise, they're like, "Yeah, no, we don't have to do what we promised." Yeah, he and the co-writer left together. Gillian could be a friend. She already worked with him on Hannibal. Yeah, usually that's what sometimes happens, this stuff. They like stick out for each other because these abuses are very common and very widespread um, in the entertainment industry. Like I've dealt with it several times. Like one place where I worked, I don't think they did the paperwork to pay the taxes because I got hospitalized because of an illness, and then they're like, "Wait, you're not in the registry." I'm like, "How am I not in the registry? I've been employed for several months." And I had to call my employer and ask him, like, "Hey dude, what did you do with the paperwork?" And they're like, "Oh, sorry, the accountant must have made a mistake and we'll issue the paper, no problem." And in the end it got solved, but I was like, I think I've been tricked and they didn't pay the taxes. Yeah, yeah, mistake. How convenient. Yeah, that's how I felt about it, but like I was just starting out. It was like my first job ever, and they knew it. So I guess they thought, oh, she's not gonna cause us any problems. She doesn't know up from down, and that was true in many ways. And I continued to work for them because, like, that was my first job. If I left and went somewhere else, they always ask you, like, why did you leave your previous job? They weren't paying their taxes, and you're probably very shady as well, because that's how all the most of the jobs in my country were. You can't really be honest and say, oh, I have expectations from you to pay your taxes. And if you're new to the industry and you have expectations, you won't get many jobs. So I was like, I'm looking for a bigger company to expand, and the usual blah blah blah. I am ambitious and young and hardworking, and I'm looking to give my best. When in reality, you're like starving. I need money for food and rent. I'll take any job. I'm not picky. And as long as you have young, desperate people willing to take any crummy job, you will continue to have these abuses. So, unemployment among young people being so high, like they're willing to do things that older people will not. And what I find it sad is like, oh, it's the fault of people that accept these bad jobs that perpetuate this in the industry, and they should have a spine and not take up these jobs because it reflects poorly on the rest of us and blah blah blah. But um yeah, it doesn't work that well. Like, we need better unions for worker um rights, and like better control and oversight, I think, if you want these things to not happen anymore. Because at many of the workplaces where I was, they had a lot of young people. Like, you would not find a person over 30 aside from the management. Like, everybody was um, at university. It was like working during the day and going to university at night. And it was just pretty much a conveyor belt at all the places. Employee retention rate were really low. Like, I don't think anybody really worked more than 2 years at these places. Usually the average was 1 year, because it looks good on the CV if you worked 1 year. Any less than that and you change your job, and it doesn't look good on the CV. So a lot of people worked there for a year, got the experience, and then they were like moved to a better company that had better jobs. But I'm kind of sad, you know, when it happens to on bigger companies. Like I personally have um higher expectations of bigger companies. Though I think it's actually easier for them to commit any abuses because you can't really sue them. They're gonna have better lawyers than you. Like you can defend yourself better against a smaller company that does something bad than against a bigger one. Leftover in the layer, yeah. But the road is actually coming from here and it's going down there. Sort of. Because it's not really going. Yeah, it's the same road. Like they were coming from the dogs and then they took a left turn because the road took a left turn. I never thought I would have to pay so much attention to like roads and light, sun direction and the shading and stuff like that. And then probably Erwin's head's gonna come over and you don't see anything. I think best case scenario, this will be a video game in 10 years. So I'm probably gonna do a lot of changes by then. I initially wanted this to be a video game right from the start, but since I can't do the programming, I'm doing it a comic book. This way I'm a lot more sure of the storyline, how it's gonna be. It's like written in stone now. Only changes I'm gonna do are absolutely necessary, like if there's a big mistake or something. Otherwise I'm gonna use this as like a Bible to make sure everything is consistent with the story and no plot holes. Although I'm sure there are always gonna be some plot holes, like there's something I forgot or did wrong or something like that. Or there's gonna be something that people don't understand and think it's a plot hole. Like that would be the worst. Like if I didn't explain it well, or maybe the storyline was too complicated. Like I see for George R. R. Martin, some people for Game of Thrones and A Song of Ice and Fire, they're like, oh, plot hole, and actually it's not a plot hole if you read the books, and if you were paying attention to the show. So I kind of dread that. Oh, don't tell me. Ah, okay. Yes. I love Clip Studio Paint. It's so easy to erase line art. At the moment, I don't have that many readers for my comics, so I haven't seen anybody complain about plot holes. Also, I think because I post like one page per week, people forget what happened in the previous page. So even if there were plot holes, I don't think anybody would notice. Like I haven't noticed any plot holes in mine, and my husband hasn't either, but I think he forgot what happened. I mean, I know how it is for me all the time. I go back to check some stuff in older chapters and like, how did I do this thing? I try to keep the story simple, just to not complicate people too much. Because I don't think anybody's really that interested in the world lore. I have some people that were interested and they read the character sheets and were like, oh, that's awesome, I want to know more about that character. So I kind of started the Strange Encounter series to kind of show more of the world where Niels lives. But it didn't seem to have that much of a traction, and since I'm already busy with other things, I don't think I'm gonna post the rest of the stories there, although that's how you get people interested. If you post more, the more content you make, the higher the likelihood of it reaching other people. So it's a bit of a mixed bag for me, and I can't really decide. I think once I finish book one, I will do more of a strange encounter just to exercise my writing skills because I am not a good writer. I'm a terrible writer. I'm good at writing scripts for films, like that seems to have been a good thing that I'm good at. I'm so eloquent. Um, but writing novels, it's something that I've never studied or liked doing. A Strange Encounter is a series of short stories like Love, Death, Robots. It's an anthology series. They are linked to each other, but you don't have to read the other one to enjoy them. Yeah, it's hard to put words on paper and be good at it. I think that's why so many Hollywood movies are just terrible because they really skim on the writers. Like, they don't pay them well, they don't hire good ones. They're like, how can we make this film cheaper? Like, where can we cut money from? And it's usually from the script, which I think is the most important part of a film. If you don't have a good script, yeah. I try to keep Neil's short. Like, it seems like it's gonna be 150 story pages, And I thought, 150 pages is not that much. I think it should be okay. It's not Naruto where you have like books and books and books and endless and you just can't keep up. So I think this format of over 100 pages, but not too much over 100 pages is best. Like you can sit down one afternoon, read all the 6 issues, all the 6 chapters, and be happy with that. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. I think it is still considered short compared to whatever Marvel is doing and DC Comics and Naruto. Oh, this here, I forgot to do the background. I think I was in a hurry. You're not sure? Okay, I can do something else on Saturday. Not sure what, but I can find something. Yeah, sure, no problem. Hope your sister is okay. And the baby and all of that. I know it takes a lot of time. Oh, Cornolis, hi, how are you? Thanks for coming by. Have you streamed lately? Like, I try to look in the Discord group to see if you streamed and I couldn't find anything. Maybe it got scrolled up or something. Oh, yeah, it's tiring to have a baby cry all day and night. I did about 20 minutes ago. Ah, I didn't post it. Big hug to little sis. Yeah. I do not look forward to having any babies. I know how it was for my siblings. I had to take care of them. I'm like, no fun. Babies are not fun. It's a lie. But that's what happens when you don't sleep for many days. You're like exhausted and very grumpy. Day was good and calm. We spent a good day. Aww. I find it funny, when I meet like friends that have kids and their kids are like 8 or 9 and they do something stupid. And I think to myself, wow, I'm gonna remember this. And if I'm gonna meet them when they're adults, like when I see their faces, this is what I'm gonna remember them doing this stupid thing. Like one of them was playing football in the house and his mom was like, stop that, don't do that. And then he kicks the ball and breaks something and she's like, oh, you little. Ah, and she's just exhausted. And I'm thinking, wow, 30 years from now, if we're ever gonna see each other, I'm gonna remember you did this and I'm gonna remind you probably because I'm gonna think it's funny. Because this is what happened to me, like, My parents had some friends that we all went to Turkey together, and the first time we went in our dad's Dacia car. Cornelius, probably you don't know what a Dacia is, but here's the model. You can Google how it looks. And yeah, now we have pictures to support our stories. Um, and so we were three kids and four adults in a Dacia 1300. How we fit in there, I'm not sure, because we have baggages as well. But we fit in, and we went from Romania to Turkey. I think we traveled 1,000 kilometers or something like that. It's not a short trip. It's at that time with the crappy roads that were at that time. It was a 2 day trips. I've seen those before. Yeah, they're everywhere. Like everywhere that a country was communist or had communist country trade, trade with other communist countries, you're gonna find that car. Um, British and European TV. Yeah. So we were like little sardines in that car, and my godmother said, because these were the friends that we went with, and she said that me and her son had a competition of who farts the most. And I'm like, no, that never happened. What are you talking about? I would never do that. And she was like, oh, yes, you did. I'm like, no, that's not me. I would never do that. That is gross. Maybe your son was doing it by himself and you're like trying to wrap me into this, but I would never do that. And like, was it just this weird conversation I had with her? Like, I hadn't visited them in many years, and she was remembering the fun times we had because we went to Turkey several times together because our parents were good friends. Um, so I was like, what? Like, out of all the things you could have remembered about me, like, how did you remember that one? No, yeah, that's not me as a personality. Like, I don't think I would ever do that. I don't think that's fun, and I don't think that's nice. I don't think that's good. And a dacha is very cramped and it has no air conditioning. Like, yeah, no, no. And so whenever I see friends, kids' friends, 8 or 11 years old, and they do something stupid, I'm like, am I gonna remember this well after many years? And am I going to remind them like my godmother reminded me that I did these things? And are they going to deny it? Love to drive that automated locks. I don't think it had automated locks. I think the only child safety feature it had was that the windows wouldn't go completely down in the back. Like that's all they did for child safety at that time. Like the Dacia was an easy car to fix, so that's why it was so popular. You can use like duct tape and to keep the car together, or You can put a screwdriver to keep the hood up so it would have better ventilation when you were going up a hill in Spain. Like in Spain, it was so hot that the propeller from the motor, it was made of plastic, it completely melted. So my dad had to buy a metal propeller for the ventilation of the motor. But now, since we're in the European Union, we have much higher safety standards. You can no longer go on the road with the cars that I see here in Michigan. Like, I have a lot of neighbors that have like really bad cars that don't stop at the stoplight. Like at Walmart, we sometimes notice that the brakes are completely eroded, like totally eroded. Like, I don't know how that car stops. Yeah, in Europe you can't do that anymore. In the European Union anyway. Like, I don't know what happens in Serbia or Albania, but in the European Union you have like guidelines and safety standards, so you kind of have to have a working car that is road safe. So your brakes have to work, and you have to take your car somewhere to get it verified. So it's not like, trust me, my car is good. You actually have to take it to be verified, and if you don't pass and you still drive, you can get a fine if they catch you. So you're usually not gonna see rusty cars in Romania like you see them here in Michigan. It's like there's a lot of salt here, so I do understand people. And having a rusty bonnet is, I don't think is that much of a safety for the road, but like you should have working brakes and working headlights. Like we see here, people going at night without headlights. Like, you don't even see them on the road. Also, they don't have markings, like you don't know where the road is. Yeah, well, it's Michigan is kind of like the Romania of the US. It's the same size, the state. Yeah, it's usually not common. Like, generally they do turn their headlights on, but every now and then you see a couple of them. If you drive long enough, you'll see at least one. When it gets dark, or actually becomes night, sometimes they just forget to turn their headlights on. They go to the supermarket, like to get bread and stuff like that, to do their shopping, and I think they just forget to turn their lights on. They don't realize they're doing that. And the police doesn't usually tell them anything. Like, they don't usually get stopped. Sometimes even the police, like, it's getting dark and they don't turn their lights on. Yeah, but you don't really have lights here. Everything is pretty dark. You have no road markings. Like, we had a neighbor from Florida Poor guy, poor soul, he's never seen real snow in his life. And he was going on a road trying to get to a city that has an airport because there's no airport where in the village where we are. And he was trying to get home for Christmas, and it snowed, and you don't have any road markings here. So if it snows and nobody cleans the road, you don't even know where the road is if you're not from around here. And he just drove into a ditch because he couldn't, the road took a turn, so it wasn't a straight road. And he just ended up in a ditch because he couldn't see where the road was and there were no markings. And it happened, yeah, it's ridiculous. He was trying to leave the village to go to the highway and then get to the airport. Yeah, probably there's a law like this in the US as well, but just nobody cares about it. Like, they never use turn signals. It's very rare to see somebody signaling that they're going right or left. Usually they don't signal, so you have to like wait for them or guess, read their minds. Yeah, in Romania, I think it is as well. For not sure, but if it's rainy or if it's cloudy or something like that. If you are a white or gray car, you have to. I'm not sure exactly what the laws are because I don't have a driving license. Yeah. I think it's that one, the same in Romania, the law. If you are in on certain types of roads or something like that. Because I don't remember in the city, but I remember when we left the city. Yeah, I think it's a European law as well because I don't see Romanians doing that because they're really cheap. And if you say Italians are doing it too, which I know they're terrible drivers as well, I suspect it's probably a European law. Like, I don't see how they were both Romanian and Italian would agree on road safety laws and then actually implement them. I definitely see it as something coming from Germans, Belgians, Dutch, something like that, people that actually drive well from what I've seen from visiting European countries. Oh my God, Turkey and Italy. I will never forget. Like, I only went through the northern part of Italy. We passed by Milan. We didn't have time to visit it. We went to Venice and then left. Like, we spent 3 hours in Venice. My parents visited more of Italy and they can attest to the driving skills, but my experience, my brief experience of Italian highways, it was just nerve-wracking. Like, I will never forget, there was this woman in a panda car. I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like. Panda car. Uh, this one. But I think it was... no, it had 4 seats. Turkey now. Actually, in English, is not pronounced correctly. It's Turkey. It's not Turkey. It's Turkey. Like, I think English people couldn't understand Turkey, and they just said, "Oh, it sounds like Turkey. I'm gonna call that country Turkey." So this car is pretty small. I think you can see it better here. It's shorter than me standing upright. It's pretty. I don't know how to describe it. It's a small car. It's a European small car, and this thing was going 180 kilometers an hour on the highway in Italy, and it was just shaking, 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 shaking. Oh my God! I thought it was gonna crash and burn and kill us all. And she was just going like an arrow in that little car. Oh my God. Like I would be afraid to go that fast in a car like that. Yes, in Romanian we say Turcia. Uh, but the Turks like they say Turkey from what I remember. And I think it you can listen to how it sounds on Wikipedia, like how they call themselves. For example, another thing that English people say incorrectly is Bucharest. Yeah, we have CH like K. So um, they they don't seem to be able to say Bucharest, so they say Bucharest. And in Romanian, it means hi, David. It means leftover butt cheeks. So whenever I hear English people say Bucharest, I immediately think leftover butt cheeks. The leftover butt cheeks, because buca means butt cheek, the butt cheek. Buca is butt cheek, but when you say buca, it's that butt cheek. So, and rest means like leftover, like restor. Yeah, maybe you guys got it from English because you like forgot about your old colonies. It's been 2000 years since the Romans invaded, so it's understandable that you would forget about your former colony. After us. Yeah, so whenever I see people say, oh, Bucharest, Bucharest, I'm like, leftover butt cheek. You guys don't know how to say the name of the city, right? I think it's because they confuse it with Budapest. So they're like Bucharest and Budapest. I'm like, you're making your own lives hard. What I find funny is like English people that have no idea what the real names of cities are. They're like, oh my God, why do these people they put the same name for their cities? Like they're so similar. Of course we make mistakes because they put their names so similar. I'm like, no, you guys did that. It wasn't us. What is the name of the building? This is the, I think, Royal College. Let me check because I don't remember exactly. What's the fancy name? So, Cambridge, Google Maps. Ah, this I think is the one in the picture. Will it give me the name? Because I don't remember it exactly. Okay, let's see. Newton's Apple Tree. I think it's King's College Chapel, yeah. This building. It's actually not placed correctly in my image because the characters are on this right side, and you have this nice part only on the east and west. like you can see it from the other side as well. If I can, let me Google another one, King's College. Yep, this is the one. And we placed it, oh no, I think we placed it well. Can't remember. Like, I took a lot of artistic liberties with showing like the best part of a building. The way the city is organized, I don't think you would even be able to see the top of it like that, but I just wanted to keep it as a reference as to where the characters are, so I made the building a lot taller than it actually is in real life. Just so the characters can stay oriented, and the reader actually, that's the goal. Yeah, so I'm gonna, once I do the shading, I'm gonna copy paste basically the background on the other panel. So yeah, I think I am done with page 108. Saturday, I'm either going to stream some games or I'm gonna do page 109. Depends if June can finish the page by then. If she can't, then I will stream some games. If you have any recommendations or requests for what games you'd like me to play, let me know. I know, David, you wanted me to stream some Porsche. Nice video about geography. You're welcome, Kay. I've had to study Cambridge so much for this comic. I think I can be a tour guide. If all else fails. Um, yeah, so my husband got Porsche, and I wasn't able to play it because I have motion sickness, but I guess I can do a little tour if I can get the copy of his game to work on my computer with his save file, because he did a lot of stuff in there, so I guess I can showcase that. Um, Other games, I'm not sure. I have to check my library and see what games I have in there, because right off the top of my head I can't remember. At some point I had made a list of games I wanted to show you guys because they're awesome, but I don't really remember them right now to tell you. So next live stream is gonna be Saturday between 1 and 3 p.m. Michigan, USA time. That is I think 10 o'clock in Romania. I think it's 7 hours still. The US hasn't changed all of its time zones. I'm not sure. It's either 7 or 6 hours ahead. So yeah. See you then if you guys can make it. If not, the recording will be online. And as always, you can join my Discord server and we can talk more there, what you guys want me to show you or what tutorials you want me to do in the future. Yeah, I think I said everything. Don't think I forgot anything. Usually I forget something. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you have a nice day or night wherever you are, and take care. Thank you. You too, David. Good night.